Hey everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. I know it's been quite a while since I have last updated anything on my YouTube channel. Sorry, it's been crazy busy with life and everything going on. But today I'm going to give you the updated collection of what I currently have, kind of slash, what I'm going to get rid of and kind of where the collection is going to go to. So we're going to go ahead and start into the X230. So this is my X230. The top features of mods on here. It's got a IPS 1366 by 768 screen. It's kind of terrible. It adds a lot of latency slash ghosting, so whenever you have multiple things open, so let's say the web browser and you just had the file explorer, little implications, kind of like a burnt-in AMOLED screen, kind of occurs on this computer. So definitely not great, but it happens only every once in a while, just due to the crappy IPS panel I got for this computer. This has been a great machine. Also got a brand new-ish kind of 9-cell battery that I've very seldomly used in this computer. This is a i5 3320M with 16 gigs of RAM, Samsung Evo 250 gig SSD, I believe. But for sure going to be decommissioning this machine as I don't use it anymore, and I have replaced most of my more main machines with just one solid unit, so I'm down to one solid laptop and one solid desktop. It's kind of where I've gone to. But yeah, here's my X230. I used to use this as my ultra portable machine. I figured I'd never sell this machine, but it's just it's getting to that point where it's time. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next computer. Alright, so here is the big behemoth. This was my daily driver before I got my new laptop. This is a ThinkPad W541. It's got the 3K IPS display on it, a i7 4810MQ with a Quadro K1100M 2 gig video card. I'll go ahead and go into the BIOS on this machine. It's got 32 gigs of RAM, the i7 quad core. Currently no drive, as I am currently in the migration process to my new machine on here, but it did have a 1 terabyte Samsung Evo SSD inside of it. So there is the specs of this computer. The i7's in there, 32 gigs of RAM. That's basically how I'm going to be selling this machine. This one's going as well. Don't need two machines. This used to be my daily driver. It's a little bit beefy. It's, a huge laptop, and it also doesn't get the greatest battery life. Using it for an hour and a half on most daily tasks is kind of, not great anymore. Even pushing the machine, you're getting maybe an hour, half an hour, if that. So definitely going to be replacing this machine. You're going to be selling it as well. But it's been such a great workhorse. 4th gen i7 machine. Come October, we're no longer going to be receiving updates next year for Windows 10. So that's kind of what made the decision for me to upgrade from this machine. And I know everybody's going to be like, well, you can go to Linux. Well, I'm not super savvy into Linux. I'm going to be trying to learn a little bit more about it here soon, but I figured get with the program with Windows 11. Sure, you can run it on here as the cracked copy, but you can't do any future updates. You can do just the local updates, which in my opinion doesn't make any sense. But yeah, alright, so the next machine I have in my collection still is my ThinkPad 770. I think I've showed you guys this maybe like once or twice since I've owned it. I've actually had this in my collection quite a while, actually I believe a little bit longer than I have the W541. This is my ThinkPad 770, Pentium 133 with about 65 megs of RAM. It's got a compact flash to IDE conversion inside of it, so it's got a 4 gig compact flash inside of it. It's actually plenty fast. Genuine processor. I believe it's a 133 model though. Pentium 1 with the MMX technology. This is quite a great little machine. The battery still works pretty good in this. I think I was getting around somehow like an hour and a half when I first had this machine. Now it's kind of diminishing over time. But the battery still works just fine. It is running Windows 98. So this is the third time I've had to rebuild this computer for the simple fact that the operating system begins to degrade over time for whatever reason. I go to install a couple of pieces of software and then it just doesn't like itself and I have to rebuild it. Cyber 9397 video card inside of it, as you can see there. This is a pretty good little machine. It works for what I needed to do. I believe it has a DVD drive on the side there. Nonetheless, it is quite a interesting piece in my collection. Alrighty, so here's the oldest ThinkPad I have owned in my collection. This is the oldest ThinkPad that's currently circulated since I've had anything. This was actually kind of my Kickstarter ThinkPad that I've actually kept for, what is this, almost 5 years? Has it really been that long? This is a, excuse me, this is a Lenovo T60P. So this is pretty much the spec'd out model that I could find. I took a couple of parts of machines. I bought 2 T60s originally from eBay when I had this, and I kind of built it into a kind of like Frankenpad of parts. Tried to build it out as monstrous as I could. One of the ThinkPad T60Ps actually had the 2.33 gigahertz Core 2 Duo inside of it. I think this one had like the 216, so I swapped it out. Maxed out as far as I can tell, as far as the CPU. Then I got 4 gigs of DDR2 667 megahertz memory inside of it. I think just a 120 gig SSD. As you can see, Windows 7. I believe this is professional. This is also the 1650 by 1050 display, or 1680 by 1050 display. This thing looks amazing. Go ahead and go in there. Yep, so that's the screen. So it's the best one you could get. Well, best one for the 15.4 inch widescreen model. There was the 1600 by 1200 for the just straight up 15 inch models on the regular T60Ps. So anyway, Core 2 Duo T7600 2.33, 4 gigs. And then this one has the FireGL V5250, which I believe is the absolute best you could get. So there it is right there. I've had this machine for a long time. The top case that you see, the condition of it, I don't know if the camera's really gonna pick it up well, but this is actually in pretty great shape. The only issue with this machine is I do not have a caddy door on the side, and it's got a bunch of scratches on the top of it, so it's not the textbook perfect machine, but it does function. It's been fully cleaned out, repasted. I think that's as much as I've done to this machine. Now at some point we'll probably do a little bit more of tinkering. I do want to bring this to the channel a lot more, just because it's such a nice old ThinkPad. Alright, so the next machine is going to be my T61. This is a more weirder configuration of a machine. So starting off, we have a Core 2 Duo, I believe it's a T7300 at 2 gigahertz. Yep, it's got 2 gigs of RAM, and then it's also got Windows XP Professional Service Pack 3. This is my XP rig for the moment. As of right now, plays all the titles that I needed to. I have a bunch of older titles that won't technically run on newer hardware. It requires some of the XP operating system, plus I like this for the nostalgia of having an older machine around to play some older stuff and mess with some older software. Going into the rest of this, this also has a NVS Quadro 140M, and then also has a 1440 by 900 screen on it. So this is definitely one of the more interesting configurations out of my machines. The next one is going to be my T400. That has a couple of different configurations as well. But yeah, so this is my main XP rig for the moment, main XP ThinkPad. So yeah, there's that one, and we'll get on to the next one. Alright, so here's the next machine. This is my ThinkPad T400, as you can see in the bottom right corner there. Alright, so this is more of a interesting configuration of a T400. So getting into it, it has a fingerprint reader on it, and then it also has a, I don't know how well you can see that, but it also has the webcam built into it as well. So it has a 480p some odd megapixel webcam inside of it, which does work. It doesn't look great at all, but it functions for the most part. The rest of the machine is actually in pretty good shape. Probably by far the best older-ish one that I have in good condition, minus the T61. So going into the specs of this is obviously running Windows 10 Pro, I think, maybe, kind of, sort of. So going to about this machine. So this one is a Core 2 Duo T9400, 2.53 gigahertz. It's got 8 gigs of DDR3 memory inside of it, running Windows 10 Pro 22H2. And this one also has another feature in it, which I don't see very many of these machines having, at least the ones that I see on eBay commonly. This one actually has a video card. It has a ATI Mobility Radeon 3400 series video card inside of it. Looks like there's a couple more drivers I gotta install. So this one does have a video card. I believe it's 256 meg, I believe. But yeah, this is my T400. This is kind of just like a spare machine. I had gotten this in a recycle lot, and I decided to keep it. I'm not sure if I'm planning on selling this machine just quite yet, but this is for just testing out old hardware. I'm going to be making making at least one video on this machine about a couple of games, just running old games on here, hooking up to my capture card and just testing and see how well that aging Core 2 Duo and ATI video card are still running. This one has like the weird battery on it that has a weird curvature to it. Alright, so for the last machine we got a ThinkPad T530. You can see in the corner. Not sure entirely. This was one of the laptops from the lot of 2 T530s. I did sell the other one during that time period, but I do have this T530. Not sure what I'm going to do with it. I think I'm just going to plan on selling it. It is actually in really good shape. The keyboard's nice and clean, the plastics, everything else is really good. The lid does have a couple of scratches, but nothing that I couldn't possibly clean up. It is missing the blanking for some kind of feature. I'm going to guess the Pantone calibrator. Maybe this was like some sort of model that had that feature, but it doesn't. But anyway, it also has the fingerprint reader as well. This model has been a little upgraded. It's definitely not in its stock form from where I had shot that video. This runs Windows 10 Pro, so we have a i7 3740QM 4-core 8-thread. We got 8 gigs of 1333 megahertz RAM. That needs to be upgraded. And then a Samsung 250 gig drive inside of here. It's a pretty good little machine. Quad core definitely makes it a powerhouse when it comes to doing certain things on this machine. I had that CPU on hand. I just threw it in there just to have it. But I can definitely make a couple videos before this one decidedly gets sold at some point. If you want to see a couple videos on it, I'm doing some gaming and stuff on there. But I think that that concludes the majority of what I do on this machine. It's kind of just a spare. Well, that'll basically conclude the video for everything. The majority of the machines that are going to be going away are the W541. I think at some point the T400, that's a maybe. I'm still kind of deciding what to do with that one. And then some point the T530 will probably go away. I'm not sure if I want to keep it just yet. I know that the W541 has more value to it as a machine, and I'd rather sell that one than try to sell this one because I don't think this has very much value. But I could possibly make a build out video on this if you guys want me to. I know that the CPU needs to be rethermal paste again. I just threw it in there. The main machines I'm probably going to be keeping my collection more of the long term are going to be the T60P. That's not going to go anywhere. The 770 I'm kind of conflicted about, but I'll probably keep it at some point. Oh, the X230 for sure is going away. Just don't use it. Don't have enough time for all these machines. You know, way too busy with life and everything. A lot of my collection is going to dwindle. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything, feel free to leave them below. I will respond to them as fast as I can. I know it's been quite a while since I've been back to everything, but I'm going to try to start making a more to-date content schedule. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about any of this collection or future things, if there's something that you want to see, I have a whole bunch of other machines that are a work in progress at the moment, so I can definitely document those and we can go from there. But anyways guys, see you guys next time in the next video.